plus moves, as AJ Preller does add Jason Adam. Now, the price tag is steep. He gave up potentially 2 top 10 prospects, and Dylan Lesko being one of them, an outfielder, Homer Bush Jr., the other, an 18-year-old catcher who isn't Ethan Salas, and JD Gonzalez. But then again, when you have a need, you kind of have to address it. We've talked for weeks about it being a seller's market. And I don't know what Dylan Lesko is going to look like in 3 years. And I don't know what Homer Bush is going to look like in 3 years, nor the catcher Gonzalez either. But right now they have a need. So to get a guy that is a setup guy who's also closed, who could be your future closer, I guess, in his mid-30s potentially in the future. I mean, he's had a great year. 0.9 whip, sub 0.9 whip. You get him. The price is steep. But then again, you're trying to get to the postseason. And if you get there, you want to be able to use someone like him in a tie game or a close game or with a small lead. So I thought it was a steep price. But then again, I think they're getting a piece that hopefully pays dividends for him.
Just looking at his stats, if you haven't seen it so far this year, he's got a 2.49 ERA in 47 games, 47 innings pitched, 50 strikeouts, and a 0.894 WHIP. His WAR this year is 1.1. It's 4-2, but whatever. And he has 4 saves on the year. He had 12 saves last year for the Rays. His last 3 years, John, have been fantastic. 2022. He had a 1.56 ERA and 63 in the third innings pitched. And last year, he had a 2.98 ERA in 54 innings pitched for the Rays. The reason why it costs Lesko, Homer Bush, and another prospect is because he's controllable until 2027. So that's why right there he's not arbitration eligible until next season. And he costs no money. So I hope it works because you paid a steep price for him. This wasn't just like a prospect or two that we haven't heard of. I mean, these are 2 prospects that we've talked a lot about. Dylan Lesko, Homer Bush Jr. Those, if you follow Mad Friars or follow the minor league system, you know those names very well. And I hope he works out, and I hope he produces in a big way for this team, because giving up that much for just a reliever is kind of crazy.
I don't know if it's crazy. I mean, here's the thing with Dylan Lesko.
I'm not going to lose sleep over. Don't worry about that. I'm not going to lose sleep over. I'm just saying, like, that's a lot. Don't you
Here's
think?
the thing. I mean, Dylan Lesko is not an 18-year-old. He's turning 21 in a month. He's done absolutely nothing in the minor leagues. I mean, absolutely nothing. To the point where he's been terrible. Now, you can't put all your eggs in the basket of what he's done in the minor leagues. I know he was coming off injury when they drafted him, but as a first-round pick in 2022 to have a 6.5 ERA this year, what I'm saying is he's multiple years away.
Okay.
So I don't even know what I had for breakfast, so I can't worry about the rotation in 2026 or 2027. The thing with Homer Bush is he's actually old for the level, or he's a normal age for the level. He's an A-ball. He's 22. Played college ball. He's had a fine year, sub 800 OPS. But then again, Jackson Merrill had a sub 800 OPS as a younger player in A-ball in Fort Wayne. But here's the other thing about your outfield. Tatis ain't going anywhere, nor is Merrill.
Yeah.
So you're kind of log jam there. The catcher, of course, you'd give him up. You have Ethan Salas. So, I mean, he's already blocked theoretically in the future. Plus, you got a decent catching situation going on right now. So it is, quote unquote, steep. And there is a scenario where Dylan Lesko is a very effective major league starter and Homer Bush is an everyday player in the big leagues. But we're talking about multiple years from now based on their trajectory. And that's why, to me, if I'm AJ Preller, I get it. He's always in win now mode, and that includes 2024. And I think he's kind of sings our praises, which is you can't really worry about 2026 and 2027 when you're in a pennant race or fighting to get into a playoff spot here in 2024.
Yeah, you got to worry about now. I just was thinking to myself, if Lesko's going or Snelling's going, I know they've had bad years and it's not been great for them. I thought a starter would have come here instead of just a reliever.
No, definitely.
Now, and then it kind of also is like, okay, well, what do they have left that they're going to be able to trade? Major, Paulie, Snelling.
Yeah. That's part of the combination.
Okay. Well, there you go. So go out and get a controllable starting pitcher. But I mean, Jason Adam, who will be here by Tuesday for sure because they don't play tomorrow. I think he slots in perfectly between Estrada and Suarez, or he might be before, 7, 8, 9, right? Like that's how you win a lot of ball games is having a dominant back end of your rotation, back end of your bullpen. And if you can go out there and you can make it a 6-inning game, like you're going to win a lot of games doing that. I don't know, yet to be seen, but his stuff, just watching it looks like his stuff is really good. And Xander Bogaerts talked about it. He said he's a very tough at bat, especially for righties. So yeah, I mean, let's go.
I think he's your 7th-inning pair to Adrian Morejon, who's a lefty, and that's your righty that you needed to pair with your lefty late. And I'm with you. Maybe he throws 8th innings because Estrada's down because he's pitched multiple days in a row, or Suarez is down and he's throwing 9th innings. But first of all, his swing and miss rate is ridiculous. I saw it earlier today. I forget what it was, 95, 96, 97 percentile in baseball.
It's good.
So he's had an amazing second half of his career. Here's a guy who's 32. He's about to be 33. So you're not getting a young player. You're going to get him for age 33, 34, 35 seasons, essentially. But you're getting him for no money, to your point. They're going to pay him $1 million this year, more than that next year, but it's not going to be a crazy number, 4 or 5 million maybe next year, and maybe $1 million or $2 million more than that in 2026. But I think all things considered for the now, when we talk about how do you get to the postseason, how do you hold leads, how do you shorten games? By the way, I'm also thinking about this. Is Waldron going to be going 7 innings in the second half of the year? Is King going to be going 7 innings in the second half of the year? I've got a 7th inning guy where starters maybe covered it in May and June, and I got to cover it in August and September. 47 outings, 47 innings means he's going an inning every single time out. He can cover how many innings in the second half of the year here? Maybe 25 plus innings for you in the second half of the year with a lead. So it makes sense to me. You worry about the repercussions of it on the other side. I mean, if Dylan Lesko's a really good pitcher in 4 years, that's something to consider. But I think over the next, half a year to year and a half, you're not even going to be hearing Dylan Lesko's name, over the next year or two would be my guess.
The one thing that, like you just mentioned there, the 47 innings and 47.
Yep.
Or 47 innings and 47 games pitched. Now, again, I don't know if it's every time he goes out there, it's just 1 inning or how it matches up. But one thing about this bullpen, John, and about Mike Schilt is he asks guys to go multiple innings. He asks guys to start innings and then, finish off those innings and then start the next inning. And he is a guy that I think sometimes it bites him in the ass when he has someone finish an inning and then start the next inning and try to get you extra outs there. I don't know how that's going to work with Jason Adam. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to criticize it right now or do anything right now before I actually see it happen. But that will be interesting to watch to see how he's used. If he's not a multiple inning guy, how he's going to fit into this bullpen. Because, I mean, every guy in this bullpen is a multiple inning guy. Every guy is more than 3 outs. That's they are asked a lot in that bullpen. And maybe this helps with Jason Adam, though. Maybe it helps with another bullpen.
Yeah, I'm looking at his outings. I mean, you would think, I'm with you, maybe he's had 47 1-inning outings. He hasn't. He's had outings as long as 2 innings. He's thrown an inning and 2/3. He's had a third of an inning. He had almost a perfect year going until a week ago. He had a 1.67.
Yeah.
He went to Yankee Stadium, allowed 3 runs in an inning. 2 outings later in Toronto, he allowed 2 runs in an inning. His last 4 times out in 4 innings, he has allowed 7 runs, 5 of which are earned. So he's hit a little bit of a blip here recently, but I don't think that's anything that should be overly concerning. But again, he had pitched nearly perfectly all year long until his last 4 outings. But you're right about Schilt. I mean, he's a little bit unconventional. I think you think about it on paper, man, the Padres bullpen is punched above its weight, is what I think. I watch a game like today for Vasquez, and they're covering all these innings and all these outs. And by and large, they pitch really well in this game, considering they entered the game in the 3rd inning.
Right.
But the Padres bullpen ERA coming into today was 21st in baseball. which also leads me to believe he may not be done with his bullpen. Like,
hope
yes, you
not.
have 4 pieces. Morahone has been reliable, but not untouchable. Suarez has been untouchable. Estrada, by and large, has been untouchable. This new cat has been very good up until recently here. So you say, well, 4 pieces, maybe that's enough. But again, you got the 21st best bullpen ERA in baseball coming into today. That to me doesn't scream your Jason Adam away from a top 7 bullpen. You might be multiple pieces away from that. So it'll be interesting to see if he does anything else at this bullpen.
I do think that the 21st ranked bullpen's a little inflated by some things.
It definitely is. I mean, there's some awful outings by bad relievers in there,
Oh yeah, like the De Los Santos of the world,
absolutely.
and the Koleks and the Gillespie, like, you know what I mean? They have had some big time blowups that aren't the Estradas, the Morahones, the Suarez's, the Matsuis of late. Like, your A team is definitely not 21st in baseball.
No, your A team has to be top
10.
5. I think if you just said Morahone, Suarez, Estrada, you're probably, are there more than 5 bullpens that are better than Estrada, Suarez, Morahone? Maybe.
And Suarez takes you to that next level, I think.
I agree.
So yeah, maybe top 5, but
top
like
7.
Yeah. So that's where I think that it's kind of misleading when you see 21st ranked bullpen in baseball for team ERA, just because we watched every game, John, and a lot of times the bullpen that's giving up runs, the players that are coming out of that bullpen are not the top guys, the guys that you will rely on when you have leads.